Today I'm unboxing the brand new Fujifilm X-T50 camera and going over all of the tech specs to help you decide if this is the camera for you. So starting off with the box, we have a standard Fujifilm box. The top just has this Fujifilm logo, and then on the sides we have the branding of the X-T50 along with the color, which is charcoal silver anthracite, and then more simple branding on the sides, some serial numbers and other information, and then on the back you have a ton of information about the camera and all of the contents inside of the package. Flipping back over, we're gonna open up this box. Standard open, just pull this one tab and this other one, and we can get inside of the box. Once we open this box up, you can see it's very simple. We're just gonna fold it, and we're presented with the camera right away. We're gonna set that to the side, and then I'm gonna go over some of the accessories inside of here. We have a Fujifilm battery charger. We have a USB-C cable, which looks like it goes to a microphone adapter. Then we have a USB type A to USB-C charge cable. We have the battery for the camera, and then we have a Fujifilm branded strap. It's made out of a pretty nice leather, and it has some nice Fujifilm branding on it too. That's what's inside of the box, and now we are going to take a look at the camera and go over some of the tech specs. So here is the first unveiling of this camera. There it is, Fujifilm X-T50. You can see it's got some beautiful branding. And this color, this anthracite, I absolutely love this color. I wish the X106 came in this color because it really is a standout gray. It's very nice. So first thing I'm gonna do is flip this camera over, get to the battery compartment, install the battery that came with the camera, and put an SD card in, which also goes in at the bottom. So now we'll jump into the tech specs and some of the new features of this camera that make it special. If we go to the top plate of this camera, you can see that we have a brand new dial. This is a film simulation dial, and I can already tell that some people will love and hate this dial. If you are a more JPEG shooter, you're gonna love this dial. It's definitely easy to select some of your favorite films and even some of your custom settings. But if you are shooting RAW, then you might have hoped that this would be an ISO dial or something a little more usable. And if you don't want to use a dial, you'll just set it to C, and then you could select it inside of the camera. So if you're pretty familiar with the Fujifilm system, you might think the X-T50 is an upgrade to the X-T32, but actually this is a brand new line of cameras. The X-T50 is meant to be a start of a new series of cameras and not be the X-T30 Mark III. So if you do have an X-T32, then this is not considered the next successor of the camera, but it is very similar. Most of the dials and the size are very similar, but there is a new redesigned grip. It is very comfortable, especially when paired up with a small lens with this camera. If you're not pairing it up with a small lens, I could see it could kind of be similar to other cameras where the grip is a little lackluster, but I've had no problems with it yet. So alongside with this camera, Fujifilm has also launched a brand new kit lens, which is the 16 to 50 millimeter. This has a variable aperture from 2.8 to 4.8, so as you zoom, it will go from 2.8 at 16 all the way up to 4.8 at 50. The lens is also made of very durable materials and has fully internal zoom, so what you see is what you get no matter which length you're at with this lens. It also comes with this front lens cap and this hood, but the hood makes it a little hard to film, so it's a very sturdy hood, very nice, but I'm gonna leave it off for the rest of this video. Now back to the tech specs of the Fujifilm X-T50, and taking a deeper look at the sensor, it is a 40.2 megapixel X-Trans 5 sensor. This is the same one found in the Fujifilm X106, so if you haven't got your hands on that camera, it might be a good idea to place a pre-order if you're focused on that great sensor with the IBIS technology and then having the addition of interchangeable lenses with an X mount. If you know anything about this sensor, it also shoots 6.2K 30 frames per second video with f-log2 and has 7 stops of IBIS, so shaky hands shouldn't have a problem when taking photos. The camera comes with this pop-up flash to get those trendy front flash shots, and it has a fully electronic viewfinder on the back and a waist level screen for those aesthetic shots and aesthetic videos that you see all over Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. The buttons are very simple. You have your playback and your delete. You have some auto exposure locks, auto focus on buttons, menu button, display button, and a joystick here to select your autofocus points, go through photos, go through the menus, and much more. You also have your quick menu that's conveniently placed here, which also serves as a thumb grip when you rest your thumb on the camera body. On the side of the camera, we have a mic port, a USB-C port, and an HDMI port in case we want to do some external recording. And then one thing that a lot of people love about these cameras are the retro dials on the top. We've already went over the film simulation dial that some people will have wished was the ISO dial, but even though we didn't get that, you have your shutter speed dial on the right side, which is standard for Fujifilm cameras, and the exposure compensation on the right side, which is also standard, which is next to the shutter button and the on-off switch for this camera. Attaching lenses to the system is pretty easy. You're just going to twist off this front cap here, the bottom cap on this, and then you're going to line up these orange dots. And once you do that, you have your Fujifilm X-T50 pretty much ready to shoot. You just got to go and set up some settings. If you're interested in setting up your Fujifilm X-T50, I'll have a fully dedicated video going over the settings of this camera, the button layout in more detail, and a ton of other stuff. But this is just a little bit of information to help you decide if you want to buy this camera right now. So now for the grand reveal, the price of this camera, the price of this lens, the price of them together. So the Fujifilm X-T50 body alone is $1399.95. If you wanted to buy just the lens for your old Fujifilm bodies, that lens will be $699.95. And then if you want to get both the camera body and the lens in a kit, that's going to charge you $1799.95. Yes, these prices are pretty steep, but that's the world we live in 2024. I don't really think there's that much stuff that's cheap anymore, unfortunately. I wish it was cheaper. And now finally, the last thing is, would I recommend this camera? And the answer is 100% yes. This is better than any starter camera from years past. It is a great camera that you can upgrade lenses with to grow with you as you grow as a photographer or videographer. So it's a great starter camera and it reflects inside of the price. I really like the waist level screen and the size and color of this camera. I think these all make it just like something exciting to use because, you know, photography is a job and you need the right tools for the job. And this is a tool that is exciting to pick up. So I 100% recommend this. It's not sponsored by Fujifilm at all. They sent me the camera early to test out, but they're not watching this video. They didn't ask me to say anything about it. They just gave me this camera, gave me the specs, and told me to go crazy. But if you guys know, I did buy my own X106 with my own money, and I would consider getting this over the X106 because of those interchangeable lenses. The insides of this camera are literally exactly the same as the X106. So if you didn't get your hands on that and you want a Fujifilm body, if you like this aesthetic, this more DSLR style aesthetic, then pre-order this camera right now. I'll have links down below. For reference, I pre-ordered the Fujifilm X106 2 minutes after it was launched, and I was in the first batch. So if you're interested in getting this camera and getting it by, you know, the end of this month, hopefully, then I would recommend pre-ordering it as soon as possible because I have no idea how many pre-orders of this will go through and how many of these they have in stock. But this is a good chance to get a camera that is just as good, if not better, as the Fujifilm X106. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed the unboxing and the quick tech specs of the Fujifilm X-T50 along with the brand new 16 to 50mm lens. If you guys are interested in some custom recipes for this camera, I'll have them linked on my website where you can purchase them. It just supports the channel because I don't have many sponsors or anything. So, as always, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.